Now we return to local news with Phil.
Professor Lord Robert Winston dropped in at a preparatory school as he officially opened its new science lab. The scientist attended Salcombe School in Southgate in the 1940s and was welcomed back as the pupils counted down the seconds before Lord Winston cut the ribbon to open the site. Year 6 pupils then put on a demonstration for the professor as he spoke about the importance of science. Science teacher Amber Long said, "Professor Lord Winston's visit to our school will be a fond memory for both me and the children at Salcombe Preparatory School. As he spoke to the children about his experiences of science growing up, I was amazed with the awe that graced the children's faces. Professor Lord Winston has left the children with a passion to further explore science, both in our new science lab and in their kitchen."
Every crash, stall and emergency stop will be broadcast on television in a documentary about trainee London bus drivers. Transport for London, otherwise known as TfL, and Arriva London have allowed television cameras behind the scenes at Edmonton and South Norwood bus garages for a documentary series that shows the challenges faced by bus drivers. ITV's double-decker driving school reveals what it takes to join the ranks of London's 24,500 bus drivers, who are responsible for the safety of up to 80 passengers while negotiating the streets of London. Each programme of the 6-part series will focus on candidates from a recent intake of drivers at Arriva's bus driving schools as they undertake a 6-week training programme. Leon Daniels, TfL's Managing Director of Surface Transport, said, "London buses are internationally recognised icons, but they, of course, owe their fame to the men and women who expertly pilot them through our busy streets. These programmes show how tough it is to be a bus driver in London and how much effort goes into ensuring the safety and comfort of our customers. The accessible services the bus network provides to every corner of the capital, in many cases 24 hours a day, 364 days of the year, is a key element in keeping London the thriving place it is."
A councillor has warned that the traffic congestion in a road in Enfield has reached the point where it amounts to an accident waiting to happen. Nick Dines, who represents Chase Ward, has issued a stark warning to the council and the cooperative supermarket chain that unless more is done to clamp down on articulated lorries making deliveries to stores in Lancaster Road, someone will be fatally injured. The Parent-Teacher Association of St Michael's Primary School in Brigadier Hill wrote to the councillor asking for help in tackling the dangerous congestion caused by delivery trucks parked up beside the former Hollybush pub on the corner of Lancaster Road and Chase Side. The Conservative councillor has been on a crusade to solve the problem of congestion, tailbacks, traffic jams and dangerous driving, which he believes stems from the proliferation of supermarkets in the road. "I have seen it with my own eyes at school times. Cars try to overtake these lorries in a very narrow road. It is an accident waiting to happen," he told the Advertiser. But a spokesman from the cooperative has insisted that after receiving some complaints from residents before Christmas, delivery times in the road were changed to 8 p.m. He said, "We are not aware of any concerns regarding deliveries or traffic following this move." Mr. Dines maintains that he has not noticed any improvement in the situation. "I am actually meeting representatives from the school to discuss this issue in a few weeks," he said. However, after months of lobbying, he says the council had agreed to undertake a holistic review of the traffic situation in the road. He added, "The road itself is very narrow, and the entire traffic situation there needs to be reviewed."
Posty is set to run again in the race which almost killed him. Graham Barnett, who delivers mail to homes in Hadley Wood, was technically dead for 3 minutes after collapsing at the London Marathon in 2006, 6 miles from the finish. No one would blame Graham, 59, for hanging up his running shoes, but he keeps on going. Next month's race will be his 27th marathon. Running a marathon is a mental thing, he said, and I am a bit mental. You have to be slightly unhinged to do it. Graham used to weigh 16 stone, thanks to booze and 40 fags a day. In 1987, a friend bet Graham he couldn't run 26 miles. He did in 1988 and was running 3 marathons every year after that, with 50 half marathons and countless 10-kilometre races. But in 2006, without warning, Graham collapsed, suffered a heart attack and went to hospital. I like to joke that I ran the first 20 miles in 2 hours and did the last 6 at 80 miles an hour, he said. Doctors performed keyhole surgery through to one of his heart's main arteries, which was 100% blocked. A postman for 26 years, Graham walked 7 miles a day on his round. If I hadn't had the heart attack in the marathon, I think I would have died, he said. If I was on my round, I could have fallen into a ditch, and that would have been it. I think I've cheated death. It totally changes your perspective on life. Graham is appealing for people to sponsor him for this year's marathon, which he's running for inclusive theatre company Chicken Shed in Chaseside, Southgate. I think what they do is brilliant, said Graham of East Barnet Road, who is a member of the Barnet and District Athletics Club member. Susan Jameson, Press and Communications Manager at Chicken Shed, said, "We are thrilled that Graham is going to run for us. The company needs $3.5 million a year to stay afloat. Fearless Graham has run one other marathon since his heart attack, when a friend ran alongside him all of the way in 2010. But this year he's going it alone. At 22 miles, it's the crowd that gets you through," said Graham. "The hairs on the back of your neck stand up." Graham won't be doing a marathon next year, but still hopes to run the New York Marathon before he retires from running. "I still run because I enjoy it," he added. "When you think about problems in your life, they just don't seem as bad. But you've got to detach your brain from your body. If you ran with your brain, you'd only run a couple of miles." Get in touch with Chicken Shed on 020 8351 6161 to sponsor Graham.
Council housing will be managed by the local authority again from April after 7 years under the control of Enfield Homes. The arm's length management company started acting as landlord for council tenants in 2008, with responsibility for running, repairing and improving homes in the borough. The move to bring the service back in-house will be completed by April the 1st. The council says that tenants should not be affected by the changes. They added, for existing tenants and leaseholders, services will operate as they do now, and in the overwhelming majority of cases they will have the same housing officer who will work for the council instead of Enfield Homes. More than 300 employees attended a staff seminar about the changes last autumn, and the last Enfield Homes board meeting will be held tomorrow. The council's cabinet member for housing, Ahmet Oykuner, said, "The Enfield Homes board and staff worked hard improving customer satisfaction and delivering £125 million worth of decent homes and major capital works. This excellent work has secured a strong foundation for us to continue working with residents, and since we are retaining the staff, it will be business as usual. My thanks go to all those who have worked so hard at Enfield Homes." The outgoing Enfield Homes chairwoman, Vicky Dungate, said, "The aim had been to ensure a smooth transition of services." Taking over from her, the council's assistant housing director, Paul Davies, said, "Not only will we continue to deliver high-quality services, but we will also take advantage of closer working links with our council colleagues to deliver a more coordinated and improved performance. I would like to say a huge thank you to all those who have contributed to this success. Following a consultation in 2012, tenants voted in favour of Enfield Homes remaining under arm's length control. However, leaseholders voted for the organisation to be brought back in-house, and the council decided then to set the wheels of reintegration in motion. A council report said it would save £500,000.
Owners of an iconic pub have reassured campaigners that the torn building will not be knocked down, but its future as a drinking hole is still in doubt. The 300-year-old Green Dragon pub in Green Lanes, Winchmore Hill, closed in January due to financial problems. A discount shop opened on the site last week. In a statement, Green Lanes Investment, GLI, which owns the property, said it will not knock down the landmark building. However, it made no reassurances that the site will be reopened in its previous form. A spokesman for the company said, GLI wants to reassure residents that we will not be knocking it all down. Although the pub business went bust due to lack of trade, GLI bought the site because it's a prominent building in a good location and feels it could continue to contribute to the local economy and provide jobs. It was important to get it back into use fast, as empty sites like this often quickly become the focus of antisocial behaviour, vandalism or squatters. For the sake of our neighbours and the local business community, we could not let that happen, so we are pleased that a new shop has already opened and hope that it has a successful future. A petition to save the premises by campaign group Save Green Dragon Pub has gathered more than 4,000 signatures. People living nearby came to show their support when Enfield Southgate MP David Burrows held a mobile surgery outside the building last Thursday. Alan Robb of Middleton Gardens said, "Everyone would like to see the place continue as a pub. It's an iconic building and is identified with Winchmore Hill, and it should be maintained. It's worth fighting for." Peter Lawler from Enfield said, "It was a great place. It's a shame to see it end." Keith Chadwick, 80, of Park Drive, said he was worried the building could eventually be knocked down. Mr. Chadwick said, "It's been here all my life and is a piece of the furniture. It's part of Winchmore Hill and has always been. It's been here so long it would be a shame to lose it. Maybe if it was turned into a hotel pub or something like that, it would keep its character reserved. It's very important to keep that history." Helen Chrysanthou of Drayton Gardens said, "I would like to see a new family-run pub for everybody to keep the community together." Mr. Burrows said he wanted to see the pub registered as a community asset so people had a say over its future. He said, "We need to respect our local heritage. We are losing too much of it. At the very least, we need to respect the building. It's known to Winchmore Hill far and wide. People would like to see it become a viable pub restaurant again. The call is for the new owners to recognise the strength of local feeling. They need to explore other options. We need to bring the pub back to life. At the moment, the direction seems in the long term to sell it off for flats."
A political campaigner has shot to fame after playing a starring role in a TV documentary about the power of activism. Yasnikati, 18, from Palmer's Green, was one of a trio of young campaigners featured on a BBC Three documentary aimed at getting young people engaged with politics. After Lucy Holmes, the founder of the No More Page 3 movement, name-checked Yaz in an interview with the Advertiser 2 weeks ago, audiences saw her throw herself in front of Rupert Murdoch's chauffeur-driven 4x4 as part of her protest against the objectification of women in the Sun. Asked whether she had been scared, she said, It was actually one of my favourite actions as part of the protest. I knew he wasn't about to kill me, and I think the adrenaline of doing something like that can make you feel great. Speaking about the impact of seeing that her efforts had worked, it has been months since the Sun featured bare breasts on page 3. She told the advertiser she hoped some would see it and realised that if young people did not vote, they would always be kept outside the political process. I really believe in the power of people power, she added. I think the media usually presents one version of women and of young people, and from that comes an extreme sense of disempowerment. Sometimes for women, and again for young people, it can feel as if your voice isn't valued. Women's looks are valued, but not what we do or say or think. That's a shame, because young women have so much to say and can say it in such great ways. If people watch that documentary and realise they do have the voice and can make a difference, then I feel as if I have achieved something.
It was fun and frolics as more than 3,000 folk flocked to Forty Hall Farm for a special event on Saturday and Sunday to mark the lambing season. And there was plenty more for young and old to see and do, besides watching the new arrivals gambolling in the fields and being fed by farmhands. Other activities included rural crafts such as felt hat making, pottery, apple pressing and clay pot making, and traditional rural entertainment was provided by the Enfield-based etc. Morris dancers. The farm in Forty Hall Enfield comprises livestock alongside commercial market gardens, orchards and vineyards, and is managed by Capel Manor College in Bullsmore Lane, Enfield, and supported by volunteers. It will now be open to the public every weekend until the end of the summer. Lambing time denotes the start of the farm year, said farm manager Kate McGeever. We have had 35 newborn lambs so far, but we still have 20 pregnant ewes, so that figure could rise to 60 or 70. She said the farm was a fantastic way for people to see how food was produced and to reconnect with the rural ways of life. Next up at the farm is the Easter Family Festival on Monday, April the 6th, from noon till 6 p.m, including craft activities and stalls, live music, circus skills and games, as well as plenty of food stalls and a bar. Admission is £6.50 for adults, £3.50 for children under 16 and free for children under 2, and proceeds go to the Art Start charity. The Farmyard Fun was rounded off as Brigadier Andrew Parker Bowles officially opened Forty Hall Farm Visitors Centre and Shop. The Bowles family has a long association with the mansion and the surrounding land. Brigadier Bowles' great-grandfather brought it from his grandfather as a wedding present in 1894, and he recalled living there in his childhood and exploring the farm and buildings. He also praised the restoration that has taken place since Enfield Council bought the property. It gives me real pleasure every time I come back and see what is happening and how the farm is being used educationally and for food production, he said. The vineyard, orchard and other projects are innovative and exciting. The shop is open on Wednesdays, Saturdays and Sunday from 11 till 4 p.m. and will also be a pick-up point for the Enfield Veg Co. vegetable bag scheme, enabling people to collect locally grown organic vegetables.
A school has gone to the top of the class thanks to its pupils' excellent GCSE results, putting it into the top 10% in England. More than 2/5 of the students at St Anne's Catholic High School for Girls in Palmer's Green gained at least 5 GCSEs at A star to C for the second year running, exceeding the national average of 55%. The school's academic prowess has been recognised with 2 Educational Outcomes Awards from the Schools Students Teachers Network, a company which offers professional development for schools. The awards, which will be presented at a ceremony next month, are for the school's position in the top 10% for high GCSE attainment and for progress in academic achievement. In 2013, 81% of pupils got 5 GCSEs, including maths and English, at A star to C level, an increase of 30% on the previous year, according to school inspection body Ofsted. SSAT's chief executive, Sue Williamson, said the school in Oakthorpe Road is leading the field in improving GCSE outcomes for their students. There is so much good practice that this school could share, she said. The results are testament to the commitment and hard work of the students, teachers and leadership team at St Anne's, and show what can be achieved when skilled teachers have high expectations and ambition for every young person. I am proud that this school is a member of the SSAT network. The school's head teacher, Siobhan Gilling, said, "We are thrilled that our hard work has been recognised nationally. This can only be achieved with a committed staff and with young people who are determined to learn and make the most of their schools and talents." Ifa Orhan, Enfield Council's Cabinet Member for Education, Children's Services and Protection, praised the school's achievement. She said, "Congratulations to everyone at St Anne's. National recognition demonstrates the superb quality of teaching and learning at the school and is thoroughly well deserved."
Labour leader Ed Miliband has slammed the Prime Minister over the closure of the Accident and Emergency Unit at Chase Farm Hospital. At PM's questions, Mr Miliband brandished a picture of David Cameron visiting Chase Farm in 2007, when he pledged that under his watch, vital services at the hospital in the Ridgeway, Enfield, would be protected. In 2013, the A&E and maternity services at the hospital were shut down after former Secretary of State for Health Andrew Lansley embarked on a wholesale reorganisation of hospitals. Mr Miliband told the House of Commons he, David Cameron, closed the services. That is what happened on his watch. Since the last election, the Prime Minister has broken his health service promises on waiting times, cancer treatment, A&E and top-down reorganisation. When he makes a whole series of new NHS promises, why on earth should anyone believe him? Last week, the Advertiser reported that a multi-million-pound redevelopment plan for Chase Farm had been given the go-ahead by Enfield Council. The buildings on the site have been judged as no longer fit for purpose. Joan Ryan, Labour's prospective parliamentary candidate for Enfield North, echoed Mr Miliband's argument and said that the NHS cannot survive another 5 years with the Tories at the helm. She added, "Now they, the government, state that the redevelopment of Chase Farm will safeguard its future, but how can Enfield residents be expected to have any confidence in what they say on this matter?" Last week, David Sloman, the chief executive of the Royal Free NHS Foundation Trust, which runs Chase Farm, said the scale of the investment in buildings and services was the clearest possible sign that the NHS was committed to the long-term future of the hospital.
Children from 5 eco-orientated primary schools got their hands dirty when they planted 60 new trees last week. The pupils took the chance to get the mini orchard off the ground at Merry Hills Primary School in Binkett Road, Enfield, on Tuesday, after winning a green travel competition run by transport charity Sustrans. The youngsters were awarded points for the number of trips they made to school on foot or by bike, rather than being ferried there by parents. The schools won the Be an Active Ranger, BEAR, competition, part of a borough-wide campaign launched by Enfield Council's Smarter Travel Team in January 2014. To date, 38 primary schools have taken part in the campaign, which was developed through the borough's School Travel Plan programme to encourage safe and sustainable means of transport. As part of the contest, children are urged to walk, scoot or cycle to school, or park and stride, if they do come by car, to reduce congestion around school gates. The children collected stickers throughout the school year each time they took part, and the top 5 were invited to help with the tree planting session. Councillor Chris Bond, Cabinet Member for Environment and Community Safety, said, "This wonderful competition saw more than 60 native trees planted in the grounds of Merry Hills Primary School by local children. The scheme forms part of the Enfield 2020 Sustainability Programme, helping them learn about the importance of trees to offset carbon in our environment and how they can also be havens for wildlife. It is vital that young people learn how important it is to protect and enhance the environment at an early age, and this scheme will help them to do that."
Over money owed to workers who were laid off. The courier company CityLink collapsed at Christmas, caused unnecessary worry and upset for staff, a report by MPs found. The collapse of the company resulted in the loss of 36 jobs at the Edmonton depot at Bestway Business Park. A House of Commons report into the impact of the closure of CityLink on employment called for changes to the law after workers discovered they were out of work on Christmas Day without any consultation. There is a statutory redundancy consultation period of 45 days for firms employing more than 100 people. The Edmonton workers were among 3,000 people who lost their jobs nationwide when the company collapsed last December, including 1,000 self-employed drivers and agency staff. The majority of workers at the depot in Ardra Road were made redundant on New Year's Eve when 31 people lost their jobs. The remaining 5 workers stayed on to deal with outstanding parcels and left their jobs on January the 15th when the company closed 51 depots nationwide. MPs said they were greatly concerned that the existing system incentivises companies to break the law on consultation with employees if the fine is less than the cost of continuing to trade for the consultation period. John Moulton, the founder of CityLink's owner, Better Capital, told the committee that the purpose of a consultation period was consultation. These are circumstances where no consultation is reasonably possible, he said. The report called for the government to support dialogue between unions, employers and insolvency professionals to improve ways of sharing information if a company faces administration. In a statement, Better Capital said, "We explored thoroughly and carefully every avenue to a solvent outcome, but sadly failed to find one." It said that issues about employee consultation near insolvency need a change in legislation.
We have reached the end of our programme for this week. Thank you for listening. So from the team of Sonia, Maureen, Phil, Jenny and Jason on the controls, it's goodbye. Label in your postal packet, put the cassette into the packet and return it to us as soon as possible, in readiness for the next edition. Don't forget, you can call Diane de Jersey regarding any help you may require in connection with Enfield Talking Newspaper. The Enfield Talking Newspaper will be with you again in 2 weeks' time.